Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to my channel, Scale Model Kit Review. I am back with another build, the Volkswagen T1 Samba bus from DeAgostini Collectibles. I am on pack number 18. I am working on stages 83 through 87. 5 stages of working on the front end of the bus, the windshield wipers, hinges, front body panels, headlights and such. So there's a lot to do here and there's a lot to show you. So if you haven't done so already, head over to DeAgostini Collectibles and check out this bus today and subscribe to it. It's fantastic and very stunning model when it's sitting on your shelf. So let's get started. Welcome back to another installment of the build, the Volkswagen T1 from DeAgostini Collectibles. I received 5 more stages with pack 18. So pack 18 gave me stages 83 through 87. Let's look at the parts that are involved with this. 83, we get the front end parts and the dash, headlight bezels. 84, we get more interior parts for the dash, windshield wipers. 85, we get an exterior part for the front end there. 86, we get the other side of the exterior part there. And lastly, 87, we get the interior for the front end. Let's get started. And to jump back just a little bit before we get started, let's look at the magazine for stage 83. Magazine is full of articles. This time it highlights the Dakar rally. Wonderful there how Volkswagen had a big influence in that rally through all these years. Then they give us step-by-step instructions, great details here, assembly diagram, one of a kind there. None of the other magazines give you this type of diagram. That's fantastic. Color illustrated, very easy to follow these, as you can see here, very nice. A lot of details. That's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and begin on stage 83. So the first stage for pack 18 is 83 here. Let's look at the build instructions. So we continue with the front nose. These are all the parts I received with this. There's your assembly diagram. Start installing some of the trim on the front of the nose there. Then we work on the headlights themselves. Put on the clear front lenses. Then those headlights get installed on the front buckets. We'll put a couple screws in for that. Then the marker lights via turn signals get put in also. Continuing with that, that's pretty much it. So let me get the parts and I will be right back. Here's the parts for stage 83, and you'll notice it's not marked 83 on the front here anywhere. How you can find out is you go here by this right here, and on the bottom it has 83 on the very end there. Alright, let me take these out and we'll get a closer look. BPO 3 screws. We have the headlight bezels themselves made of plastic. Very nice chrome plating on those. Headlight lenses, very nice. The European style lens with the European cutouts that are on there, if you can kind of see that there. Turn signal, marker lights. The trim piece for the front, very nice there. Chrome plated. Everything here is made of plastic. The dash, very nice. I believe that's how, maybe like that. It's hard to tell which way this goes in. We'll find out. Let's get started. Bring over our front end that we completed pretty much in the last pack. And we'll take our trim panel. Trim panel is going to snap into these spots here on the front. So we'll very carefully guide those into those holes. Snap them in. right there, and right there. And that's how that looks there. Very nice. Work on the headlight buckets next. Okay, here's your headlight bucket itself. You can see how that looks. You can see there's that screw attachment for the ring. The lens itself, getting a closer look at it, you can see how those installment tabs are angled. So we want to make sure that they go in a certain way up against it. So just like I'm holding it, we're going to insert that in very carefully. And that's good there. You want to be careful with those. Do it gently so that way you don't break them. So that's nice there. We'll do the same thing with the other one. Insert that gently. And good. There we go. Perfect. That's how they look. And I believe we'll install these on the front end of the car next. Okay, so we'll bring over the headlight bezel, and of course we want the screw attachment to go on the side there that is designed for it. And we want this to go in a certain way. You want the writings on the lens here. You want to be able to see those. You can very easily put these in upside down. You can go like that with it. On the other one, they would be upside down. So these go in just a certain way. Look for the written words down here on the bottom, and then we'll line that up. If I don't have butterfingers, just like that. And BPO3 screw goes into that. Just till it's snug. That's good there. And that's how that looks. We'll go ahead and install the other side. Pretty much falls down in place. And once again, a BPO3 screw goes into that. That's good there. Just snug. And they're both in. Now we're going to put in our turn signals here. And we want to bring over the right one here. And you can see it is keyed. There is a keyway. So it only goes in one way, just like that. Once again, BPO3 screw goes into that from the back side. Just till it's snug. That's what that looks like there. Same with the other side. That looks good. BPO3. Just till it's snug. That's good. And that's what that looks like there. Now we simply take our parking light and that just snaps in. Just like that. And the other side also. Just press fits. There we go. Looks great. And that's all we do with stage 83. Looks great, very impressive looking. Let's head over and do stage 84. Back again with stage 84. Let's look at the instructions. Elements of the instruments and panel wipers. There's all the parts. We got quite a few parts here this time. And there's the assembly diagram for that. Looks like we work on the instrument display, speedometer, radio, dials, oil pressure gauges, displays. Install the wipers on the front nose. Tape it down to help you along with that. We'll install a spring on that and a circlip or a C-clip as they call it. Do that with both blades. That's how that looks. That will complete that. We'll have some extra parts left over. Let's look at the parts. Here's the parts for 84. Lots in here. Let's get a closer look. BPO3 screws. Micro switch. 06. It's numbered 06. Here's a close-up of all those parts. Windshield wiper blades, some dash components, the decals for the instruments, springs for the windshield wipers, clear lenses here, knobs, and those C-clips. Here's our main instrument speedometer, and you can see that's the bottom end of it. The bottom end will line up with the bottom of the instrument cluster, which looks like that on that end. The other two ends don't look like that. So we'll go ahead and take the decal off. And we'll line up the bottom as best as possible. That's how that looks there. Bring over our lens, and we're going to put that down on it. It does have a step, so just make sure that's positioned correctly. And there it is. That looks good there. Same thing with the radio. We got to bring that over. That looks good there. Same thing with the lens. It has a little step on it that goes up on top. We'll press that down. And that's what that looks there. Looks good. Gotta bring that over. And just like I'm showing you here, on top of that, and we got a lip on the lens, and we'll press that down, and that's how they all look. Those look good. Now let's work on the windshield wiper blades, just to give you a close-up of those instruments. Alright, bring over the front of our bus. We're going to insert the wiper blade into that, just like that. Turn it over. Go ahead and put the spring on it, just like that. And I'm not going to use tweezers for this. It's going to be very fiddly to do. They say to tape it, but I can hold it. hold that down. Okay, so I had to do this off camera. It was very hard to do. You have to be very careful you don't lose the clip or the spring. But I did end up using some pliers to push that clip on. I didn't want to break anything, so that was very difficult. And both wiper blades are installed. There is a left and a right wiper. You can see one is longer than the other. So I probably have them on wrong. The left one, longer one, probably needs to go on the driver's side as compared to the passenger side. But I'm going to leave it because those C-clips and springs were very hard to deal with. And I got them on. I didn't lose nothing. And that completes stage 84. A lot of fun here. Those wiper blades were definitely a challenge. And by looking at the illustration, it looks like I do have them on correctly. The larger, longer one on the right side compared to the shorter ones on the left. We had a lot of extra parts left over, so we'll save those. Let's go ahead and go to the next stage, stage 85. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 85. Stage 85, working on the front of the body and the dashboard. There's the parts we received. And the assembly diagram just shows us working on the dashboard. Start installing all the instrument panels onto this. Looks good. Some of the knobs, little micro switch goes into, and the handle. That's what it will look like when we're done. Let me get the parts. I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 85. Let me take these out. We'll get a closer look. BDO4 and BDO8 screws. And we have the outside of the bus. Very nice, made of metal. And metal hinge. And be careful with that. That was taped inside the blister pack. Let's get started. First thing we do is install the speedometer, and it's going to go in just like that. So you can see you have some alignment tabs here and the one on the bottom. So it's going to slide down on those and snap in on the other, just like that. And that's how that looks. And this would be the oil pressure gauge. And that's going to snap in, we hope. There we go. And that's how that looks there. Snapped in. Next, to put in the clock. And that's going to snap in place also. It only goes in one way. There's a large pin and a small pin. So we just make sure it's lined up like that. And that's how that looks there. That looks great. Now we're going to put in the ashtray. Same thing. Small pin, large pin. That looks good there. We have two knobs that go on this. We'll grab the shorter knob, and that's going to go in right here, right by the instrument cluster. And that just press fits, just like that. Next, we're going to put in our micro switch. That's this right here. And it's going to go in just like that. We're going to take this lever. And we're going to put that in there, just like that. And then this goes down on top of that and locks that lever in. So that's going to actuate that micro switch. 2 BPO3 screws go into this. These are the ones we received in the last stage. That's good there. And make sure the switch works. And it does. Perfect. I like it. And next, take our handle and we're going to press that in. Checking to see one is larger than the other. Doesn't look like it. But we obviously do not want to break the handle. And that presses in. Just like that. Looks great. And that was a lot easier than I thought it was. Everything looks great there. So that completes stage 85. Let's head over and do stage 84. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 86. Stage 86, I work on the lower part of the front end, and that's the part that we received with this stage. We're going to install both sides this time onto the front end. We're going to install one of the hinges first, mount that on the front of the bus, put some screws in. That's what it should look like. Mount the other side, put screws in, and that's what that should look like. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 86. I'll take these out, we'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. BDO 4 screws. There's that lower front end part. Very nice, made of metal. Let's get started. Grab the front end part that we got in the previous stage, and we're going to mount this hinge to that. I believe it goes down just like that. Yes, it does. BDO 8 screws go into this. First one. Used 3-in-1 oil for this. And they're both tight, and that's how that looks on that hinge. Now we'll mount this to the front of the bus. Alright, so it's going to mount into these two holes here and also get inserted into that notch there. Now if you look, this is what we have going on. These mount to those two holes. But we have this tab that goes into that notch. So bring it over. Insert that into that notch. And then up against those holes. There we go. BDO 4 screws go into this. Make sure everything's tight. That's good there. And that's how that looks there. Looks good. Let's do the other side. Same thing. Gonna insert that into that notch. A tab in there. Line up the two screw holes. And to make sure they're tight. That's good. And that's good there. And that completes stage 86. Let's head over and do the final stage for pack 18, stage 87. Let's look at the final stage for pack 18, stage 87. This time we work on the door hinges and we receive the front interior panel. Here's the parts, those hinges and panel. There's the assembly diagram. So we're just going to install those hinges on each side. That's what that looks like. Get everything secured down in place. And that's what it will look like when we're done. Let me get the parts and I will be right back. Here's parts pack for 87. We take these out, we'll get a closer look. Beetle 8 screws, 2 red hinges, they are made of metal, 2 white hinges, they are also made of metal, and the interior panel. Okay, we're going to install these hinges, and they are marked with an R and an L, so on the right side. This goes down just like that on the right side. 2 BDO 8 screws go into this. And that's good there. That hinge is installed. Next we'll install the next hinge, and has an R on it also. That's going to go down just like that. Okay, they're all installed. I'll go ahead and do the other side and I'll be right back. And the hinges are on the other side. Just make sure your screws are in all the way. I definitely had to lubricate the screws to get them to go in a lot easier. But making sure those screws are tight all the way on those metal hinges is key here. I did use some lubricant, some 3-in-1 oil for those. And that completes pack 18. Got a lot done in this stage. Got the front end started here. Looks fantastic. I'm really enjoying this. We have the dash going here and the back end of the front end. So stay tuned for another installment next month for number 19. If you haven't done so already, head over to DeAgostini Collectibles and subscribe to this bus today. It's fantastic. And if you're a Volkswagen fan like I am, you definitely need this in your collection. With that, if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and smash that like button. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.